the chairs rotate.
So how many is it altogether? 5 plus 1 is 6? No. Yes.
It's really
6.
7,
It's
because
really 7.
Chris is gonna be here.
Okay, but will he
And-
sit back here or over here?
There was a lady appointed.
Huh?
There was a lady appointed last meeting.
Right,
Sure.
yeah. So,
Yes.
so there's 5 on the board,
Plus 1.
and Chris is an alternate, and then,
Okay.
what's his name?
What's his name?
Ken.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I'm going to get rid of one of these chairs. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Ken normally sits here, doesn't he? So I don't want to take anybody's spots.
I always feel weird sitting up there. I feel like that should be the board and I should be off to the
Well,
side.
you can sit wherever you like. You-
My perspective is we're a team.
I agree.
I
However
haven't
it
been in
works.
Poland, I can see everything. And I must apologise for the confusion with the minutes. I misunderstood from something Wendy told me, which is why I messed things up, but hopefully I'll do better this time. Well, nobody else wanted to do it, so you stuck with me for the time being. If you don't like it, you can try to go do it yourselves.
I thought you did a wonderful job on that.
Now, the whole thing in minutes were confusing because we had that
Right, and she'd said,
different meeting.
and I'd understood her to say she was taking care of those, that's where the problem arose.
That's what it's
Hello.
Sportsman's Club.
Oh,
I wonder if he would mind if I said, just because of my
it doesn't
hearing.
matter where you
But I
sit.
hate to take his spot, but I have
If
a
you,
hearing
if you want,
problem.
you can sit in that little corner back there and there's a.
First come, first served, if they don't like it, they need to get here earlier.
I think I can hear these guys better.
Chris, you want your name tag so we know?
No, I'm good.
Come down.
I think it's good. I think it's good.
This is second shift for me here. I was here from like, I don't know, 9 to 12.
Going short yesterday. and all
I
kinds
know,
of-
it was snow, it was pretty wild last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, we have some snow up there. Well,
Yes.
Dapper in your way.
We're going to come to the table here.
What's going on, Ken?
Does anybody want to print a copy of the agenda?
Please.
Is that what was shared, sent out to us by email?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, I have that.
you don't need it printed.
I agree. I'll take the last one.
Oh, no.
What's his name is?
Brian.
Brian, with an I or a Y?
The correct way.
That was right.
That's
I
what
said
I
it.
said. Correct.
Well, I know my father was Brian with a Brian with an I.
Yeah, it's, sometimes I don't say it. Just, it's weird. Thank you, Rich.
Yes, it's been what, months, literally months since we've been there. Oh, it's terrific.
One thing that,
Okay.
thanks, Rich.
Is there a, I,
I don't know what that one goes to, yeah.
we ran into this before. 'cause
Yeah, I remember, this is like from deja vu.
there is a switch somewhere.
Andrew Collins with it. That's weird. What's that? I guess that goes to the closet.
There's one here. And there's a dimmer.
Oh, here we go. Oh, that has a bit. Fan, that's a fan. There we go. We got that going for us. A broom of switches to new.
I guess we're a bunch of mushrooms.
you are, because I think I'm supposed to list everybody who's here.
I'm Austin.
Austin,
Yep. Bard, B-A-R-D.
B-O-R-D.
B-A-R-D.
Okay,
Yep.
like the bar, very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
And he's here for the Golden Wood.
Yes, I gathered that, but I didn't remember the name.
So you can go ahead and take roll. 6:30.
Oh, I can? Okay. Call to order. What, do I list everybody's names? Is that how I go?
In the past, people called the names out. If you just want to say
yes,
everybody's
I
here.
mean,
or-
Sherry is here. And,
Jen Farrell.
yes. And
Dominic
yes,
Pigrelli.
yes, Rich, and
Luther,
yes, indeed, everybody's here. Great.
And Chris is actually here because he's the
Oh,
alternate.
yes, I've got it listed here too.
I'm just a fly on the wall.
Approval.
So it's been 2 months, but we had minutes for the January meeting. Does anybody have any? I had made comments beforehand. We did some
Back and forth.
adjustments. So is there anything else?
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Um, I don't really have any comments right now. Any of the public? Okay, no public comment. So, but the old business, this Southwest Joint Comprehensive Plan, I met with Rob Thaler, it was right before we would have had the last meeting. And we talked about a couple different things, but he had said that they were doing some work on it and were planning to get the whole group together sometime in March. But March is half over and I haven't heard anything from him about a meeting yet, so I don't know. I don't expect that's gonna happen in March, but, so that's kind of where that is. With reviewing the saldo, I think that's the appropriate time to talk about what we were doing with the, revision for, that had to do with, conservation district, all that stuff, so. I know very little other than,
With regards to conservation by design and what we're gonna do. So I think the board is reviewing whether conservation by design, as it's written in the current code, is applicable for Liberty Township. And so if we look at the options, one of it is to remove it altogether and then just do it case by case. One would be to, stay with what we've got. And I think, I haven't talked with Bobby and Nikki about it, but, it's really, I think the potential is that we may just remove conservation by design completely from the ordinance, but that hasn't been voted on. So that would change anything by conservation by design, because it's very limiting, as we talked about when we had Rob down here. For the way it's written, it impacts a bunch of plots that conservation by design doesn't really support, right? So when you get into acreages that really matter are, in my opinion, I think Rob's would be 10, I believe it's more than 30. And then as I think you all know, that I brought the land conservation of Adams County down here to actually show another completely different option, that if you as the landowner so choose, you can do land conservation by design in your entire property. You can hand over your development rights and preserve your entire acreage, and that's what I've chosen to do. So there are other options available, and I think that, okay, I don't know what Nikki and Bob are thinking, but that's kind of where we're at. I think we're gonna vote on that, or review that, and then I think Lisco is actually working on the verbiage that we'll be reviewing at our next meeting. Fair enough?
so we don't have a role in it at this point.
No, because I think we're just gonna remove it. It's sort of what I remember from our last conversation.
What brought up the attention to this section of the ordinance? Did something happen in the township?
Yeah, so I'm sure you're familiar with how how under Sharnita, all of these lots were sort of thrown together, right? So we have a bunch of parcels, and please jump in if I don't get this right.
I mean, really, it's the next thing on the agenda, the Andrew Mitchell plan. He has like 3 acres, and he wanted to subdivide it in half, but after he does all the conservation by design, he can't subdivide it. And right across the street, albeit a different zoning district, they could. And trying to conserve or preserve, however you want to look at it, 3 acres, 70% of 3 acres, you're not doing nothing. It's not helping farming because there's no farming there. It's not really helping anything trying to do that technique on a 3-acre parcel of land. That was the driving force, but he's not the only one in this township that has 3 acres. You know, there's several people that have maybe 2 acres or 5 acres where conservation by design is just not gonna have an impact. It's not like he had 300 acres where you say, hey, we preserve a 100-acre farm. He's preserving a 1/4 of an acre of land that's just gonna be grass. That's really not, you know, we could already do that without making conservation by design, just having your typical, and I'm just making it up, 1 acre, 1 lot density, you know, it does the same exact.
And so from the township's perspective, from the fiscal responsibility level, all it does is it spins up, I gotta get him involved, I gotta call Lisco, I gotta get an attorney involved, then the property owner that's actually trying to do this has to get an attorney involved. So there's all of these unnecessary costs. And if we go back to the history of the township, you know, the Sharnita, huge problem for both Carroll Valley and ourselves. Then we had another developer that came in shortly thereafter. It set off a huge trigger of, we're gonna over pendulum it. And so what they ended up doing is they really made this draconian code that really limits, you know, anything to do with their property. And I know that if someone came to me and said, hey, look, you know, you gotta do this in your property, that's not right. I'm choosing to put my property into conservation because that's my right. But it's not necessarily I think the township, or from my perspective as a supervisor, right for us to be like telling what you can do with your property or somebody else with their property, if that makes sense.
Is there still a road frontage on that? Did you have to have a road frontage certain size?
There are, yeah, and this property is just a nightmare because it's, and there are more of it. And the problem is when you look at the entire township, everybody's in conservation, right? So what I am envisioning is I would like to promote people to be able to move to Liberty Township because it's a great place to live, and promote that that's a generational thing, that you come to Liberty Township and you live here, and maybe your next generation lives here. The problem is by being too restrictive, well, shoot, I'm going to go to the next township over or somewhere else, and I just don't think I don't think it's the right thing to be dictating from up there what we should be doing. So again, Bobby and Mickey and I don't know what their impressions are. That's more my opinion than anything. But
So on that 3-acre lot, what would your road frontage have to be to split it out?
I would, off the top of my head, I don't know, whatever it is now, he can meet. So he has the proper road frontage of what's in the ordinance now, which I think is like 200 feet, maybe 250. He has all that. Problem is we say in the ordinance you have to basically take away 70% of your land, and then you can only put your house on that little bit of land. And when he tries to subdivide, he's allowed about like a 10 by 10 foot house, which
Right. Still has to meet the sand.
right, and it's like
he's already. This is the same with the development stuff. But you know, somebody wants to put in let's say somebody wanted to develop on my property, right? And they want to say, oh, we're going to subdivide it into 5 10-acre lots or something like that, right? There are so many other restrictions that we can get them on that we could manage how that's going to be developed. But this one ordinance, I get why it happened, and I don't want to argue that, but it just, from my perspective, with how I believe that it should be in the township to promote proper development, as you guys will determine. But this one is just something that just
Yeah, I remember back in the 90s, the early 90s, it was a minimum of 2-acre lot.
yeah.
That you had even to subdivide a lot off.
Yeah.
right.
I'm in favor that's, whatever we can deal with that. It's just it's conservation by design. The specific issue is conservation by design as it applies to these tiny lots. It's just, in my opinion, it's not. It just is it was an over pendulum at the time, and we would like to remove, I would like to remove it. Again, I don't speak on behalf of Bobby or Mickey, but that's kind of, I think, the opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it makes all the legal stuff go away.
We talked
It saves the taxpayer money.
when Rob was here, we talked about the language and that. Did he change that and get back? He said he was going.
He did, well, he was going to.
He was going to, part of the reason that the February meeting was canceled is he had said that he would get us something like a week before then. He got,
But it's
and I was contacted by Wendy less than a week beforehand, and I talked with Rob. He hadn't made any progress because of other work requirements.
We also, I think, may have
And
interjected.
so I didn't see any sense for having a meeting if he hadn't done any prep work that we needed to have. So that's why it got canceled.
Yeah.
And then
And then I think we may have gotten in Carlisco and said, hey, what's the back path forward if we're gonna remove it? And I think that's currently what's being worked on. I don't talk to Lisco directly that much, so I don't know if it's on this document. You may know more than I do.
Yeah, I don't know where Lisco's at with it, but my understanding was you, and I could be wrong, but my understanding was you told Rob to stop working on it. You went to your solicitor and said, give us an option or two that'll, you gave him your input, this is what we'd like to see, and then he's supposed to get you as an option or two
And that's,
and go forward that way. And just so everybody here is aware, you still have to go through the legal process of changing the ordinance, so the planning commission will get a chance to review it, county will get a chance to review it, give you recommendations to the board. It's not like it just goes to the board and they say, we're adopting it. That's not the way it goes.
No.
It has to come to the planning commission, you get a chance to review it, offer recommendations, it has to go to the county. They'll get a chance to review it, offer any recommendations, just like any other time you make a change to the
and that's
ordinance.
public hearing too.
And there's a public hearing, yes. Yep, so it'll be advertised, the public could come in and give any of their thoughts on it.
It's just setting, it's just changing where you can't use, you can use most of the property, not your, or all your property.
Well, we don't know yet. I think that's where the township would like to see it, but until
Right.
Mr. Lisco provides document, you know, a
Draft or
document
something.
or something, right, a draft, we don't know what's in there yet.
Yeah, if you guys squeeze a sand mount on or something in a house, you're on a small lot, you're not gonna, but is there a minimum lot in, like, conservation district?
I'm not sure if there is a minimum, because I think it's based on density, and then it's based on cutting out all the stuff, the wetlands and the 70%.
How close you are to the
this and
road.
that.
I know we don't allow panhandles, which is,
Yeah.
Is this gonna delay
Um,
item C here?
Well, they do have an extension. The Mitchells, I think, understand they were gonna go. Originally, their option was to go to the zoning hearing board, and then the township said we're gonna look into changing it. They could go to the zoning hearing board or petition the township change the ordinance, and the township said we're gonna look at changing the ordinance. Ask for an extension. We're probably gonna change it to it'll make your subdivision be good.
And he's aware of that, and he shared with us that he was okay with the extended timeline. He's like, hey, look, I get it, right? Because he's a taxpayer and a constituent, so we want to communicate with him, explain to it, and he was okay with our timeline, saying, hey, look, we want to do it right, it will affect you.
What does that 180 days go to? What is the date on that?
I don't know. It would have
Roughly,
been.
to the month.
You'd have to get that from Wendy.
It was a 6-month extension from,
January something.
right, January something.
End of January.
It'll be
So
in,
more or less middle of the year, okay.
Yeah.
it'll be in like
July.
probably May, June
Yeah,
timeframe.
just rough idea, thank you.
There you go, my value add for the night.
So,
Any more discussion on that? Okay, I had one other question, Kristen, you might be able to help on. Regarding the cell building. We were given a charge to come up with an accessory apartment, modification for the ordinances that we submitted to the supervisors in September, and I think my understanding, the October meeting, that it just wasn't, that Mr. Barlow said, we're not gonna do this.
Yeah, so
So I don't know what's happening with that.
I don't know the answer to that, but I will write that down and I'll get you an answer and email you kind of the status.
Because he had asked for, the board asked for doing something for accessory apartments, regulating Airbnbs, and I think that one, I thought we kind of concluded that we weren't gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, the
And then
fact
there was a but there's separate things, and we felt like we did the accessory apartment, let's get that one reviewed and through. And from what I read in the minutes, Mr. Barlow didn't wanna do it with anything until all three were done, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I kind of remember that. I think what had happened is that we may have been, we may have gotten rolled into something that was broader than what we needed to do for the specific thing. I'll take it as an action item. I'll get back to you. I don't have any concrete details.
Yeah, and I went to listen to the minutes, or the meeting video, but for some reason, it got recorded a week later than the meeting.
Was it empty? Was there like no one in the room?
Yeah. You got a recording on there, an empty room, that was on October 8th, but the meeting was on October 1st, but, so all I could go by is the minutes. I wasn't able to hear if there was any discussion.
While you're bringing up other things connected with that, I mean, we had sort of talked about other aspects, the data centers and all the rest of it, and when Rob was here, he said he might look into putting wording in on that, and I was interested
Well,
to know.
he said he could help. He wasn't he didn't take an action on it.
No, but
Yeah.
is it something that maybe we need to just keep our finger
Well,
on?
and that's part of my thing too, is should we be working on things like taking a look at data centers, updating the solar, which I think there's been changes because if we do something and nothing goes wrong with it, then we're wasting our time.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue, right? We get over legislating, we get over it, and we're thinking about all these things that may or may not happen, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But I'm happy to bring it up. I would say that if you guys want to, we can talk to Rob about that. I don't know how much money we'd be willing to put up for that, but Rob's free.
Yeah, Rob's free. And initially, I think it would be just us taking time during, like last month, we
Yeah.
canceled a meeting. We could have had a meeting to.
Well, I would
talk
say
about
there's
this.
nothing wrong with doing research on anything, right? So if you guys want to say, hey, Rob, we'd be interested in solar farms, what other townships have done, as we know, other municipalities in the state are up in arms in both states, right? I'm concerned about it, right? It's an issue. So I would, if you guys don't mind, I'd encourage you to do the research on it, just so we're up to speed. So when something like that, we're not playing catch up.
Okay.
So that's your action item. I'm trying to avoid taking any action items. I got enough.
Well, I just want to make sure that in general, the supervisors would be, open to entertaining.
I tell you, from my standpoint, as a land conservationist, wanting to see as much private owners putting this stuff in conservation, I am all in favor of explaining to people what's coming. Because it's getting really expensive in Frederick County. It's not, it's much cheaper here, and this is a right environment, I think, for that.
But then the specific is the accessory apartment is,
I got that
we're
one.
gonna get.
And I'll revisit the accessory part of the Airbnb and find out the stats. I'll email you. I'll come back down tomorrow morning. I'll email you midday tomorrow or something.
Okay.
There's a list of like 6 items.
Yeah, but we came up with that, but the accessories was the only time where we really developed that document.
Okay.
And we did a bunch of extra sessions,
Around
workshops last summer to put
Okay.
that all together, so.
Well, there's a lot on our plate, so please, if we miss something like that, it's not being addressed, just let me know. That's why I'm here, and I'm happy to bubble it back up, right? Because we've got a bunch of other things that are coming to the plate right now that need to be dealt with, so if it slips off, just bring it back to my attention, and I will bring it back onto the table so that we deal with it.
Okay. So as far as the Andrew Mitchell, we already talked about that. They've got the extension and it's just kind of on hold until,
You should, someone should make a motion to table the plan. It's still officially a plan on,
Oh, definitely, let's make a motion to table that. Is that the right term?
Yep.
Close enough.
Second.
no, I was just wondering if that was, is that a carryover from the January meeting?
yeah, it should be.
Well, did we table it then and is it still tabled?
Every time you have a meeting, you should retable it.
Okay.
Did you ever work away?
All right, anybody wanna make a motion to table?
I did.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm from Chamber.
Bill seconded.
So I was here.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Golden Boy.
Close enough, I've got it in time.
So you have comments. And,
Yeah, so I think without interrupting Austin, basically they came in months ago to do the kennel. We approved everything. Everything got recorded. Then they made some modifications. They had to resubmit the plan due to the modifications. We went back and forth several times, not in this meeting, but between his engineer and us and everything. So our last memo, which is March 11th, we're down to basically 2 comments. An as-built plan is required, which doesn't occur until after the plan's been approved and everything. And then his financial security, which he's already paid that with the last go-around. We don't think that any additional financial security is required. And then just, the county signing off on it. So it would be our recommendation that you conditionally approve it based on KPI's letter and county.
well, did you read through all the county's comments? And did you have any, are there comments there that need to be addressed? Because there was multiple pages of it.
Well, that was the previous one.
December.
That wasn't their updated one.
That was from like December or something,
Yeah.
I was reading through them all.
Yeah, that was December.
Yeah, that was the previous one. They didn't give us the updated one yet, which we're assuming will be very limited, if any.
So you're recommending to go ahead and approve,
Yeah, conditionally approved
conditionally approved.
on KPI's and county's letter. And then, like I said, our letter, they just have to submit an as-built plan and financial security's already submitted. Of course, signed and sealed plans, et cetera, but.
So the as-built will be
Yeah,
something that's going
right.
out for.
More or less, since it's already built, all
I
they'll do is
understand.
after it's approved, they'll just take away the word land development, put as-built on it, and resubmit it right back to the township. Cause it's built as the plan states.
So I'd make a motion, okay, that we conditionally approve the plan.
What are the conditions? That's what,
KPI's,
KPI's letter dated March 11th and county comments.
is there a second?
Oh,
Or
I second, yes.
any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Ah,
Thank you very much.
we've been discussing that one for a long time, it seems.
Yeah.
Way too
We should
long.
be done now.
Thank you. Let Maddie know that I turned the gutters or downspouts are going back in the turf, so that's taken care of.
what's his last name?
Austin Bard, B-A-R-D.
Well, we would have been here.
Yeah, I was just wondering is, well, to review this stuff, is there anything that we need him or need feedback?
Not really. For
Or does he think it's, the meeting's still at 7:30?
I
I had to
still,
double check.
I did see Lee this morning, but I did not.
I
bring it
told
up
them that
about
before,
this.
and,
So,
yeah.
I guess there's 4 things with the Sportsman's Club. You know, the plan itself, he's asking for 2 modifications and the non-building waiver. Gil, the SEO, he signed a non-building waiver. I brought it in today. It's sitting here. You can make a motion on that. All a non-building waiver is for sewage, meaning that they are not proposing any construction on the property, so therefore they don't need any sewage. Okay, that's all it means. One of his waiver, the modifications is the meets and bounds, and we're talking, he did the survey on one side of Waynesboro Pike. He did not survey it on the other side of Waynesboro Pike. So not where the subdivision's occurring, where the subdivision's not occurring. That's what he's asking for. And then the other one's the scale. I think the scale's fine. It's on one piece of paper. You can read everything. And then you have the plan itself. Gave a letter again March 11th. I have 5 comments. One comment is about the scale waiver, which I don't object. The other one's about the boundaries waiver. Again, I don't object. Number 3 in our letter has been addressed, so that actually would come off. Number 4 is the sewage planning, which now it's been signed. And then number 5 is a general comment, because part of this land is not only in Liberty, it's also in Hamilton Township. So we said Liberty Township Board of Supervisors shouldn't sign the plan or unconditionally approve the plan until Hamilton approves the plan. And that could be a cat and mouse. They might be saying the same thing over there. But for all intents and purposes, they meet everything in Liberty Township. They have to get through some stuff in Hamilton but
These 5 items,
yes.
okay.
But really, number 3 would come off. They did it, on my letter, they did address number 3.
So he surveyed our side, but not Hamilton?
No, he surveyed one side of Waynesboro Pike that actually has the subdivision or the lot that's being subdivided off.
So he surveyed the actual lot being,
Yes, which is
Subdivided
half
off of.
Hamilton half Liberty. He didn't subdivide. So here's Waynesboro Pike. He surveyed all this. Here's where the lot is being cut off. He did not survey this portion of the property on the other side of Waynesboro Pike. That would be like right here. Something that, to an extent, has no effect on this subdivision. He did survey the area he's subdividing off.
so is that the number 2 on this paperwork?
Yes. So he's asking for a waiver, so he doesn't have to show basically all the survey points over here because he didn't survey them. And it's, again, if he just didn't want to do that, I'd probably have some heartache, but since Waynesboro Pike actually cuts the property in half, and he did survey the other side, I wouldn't object to that because it has no bearing on this subdivision or this lot that he's subdividing off.
Are those actually recorded as separate parcels on each side of the?
No, it's, according to him, it's recorded as one lot, and then the neighboring lot is its own separate parcel.
Yeah, I know sometimes these big lots are actually multiple parcels.
Yeah, according to him, it's not, and according to him, this is why this is the other reason. Lots of times you could just say, well, take the bearings and distances from the deed, and he's saying that they don't have them on the deed. The old deed.
Then how would he survey it if there's no definition?
It's the old school, like go to here.
The tree on the right side of the rock.
And it's like, okay.
And normally you close, when you do a survey, you close the whole loop. When you
Well,
run
I know
numbers.
that,
But without running the whole numbers, you're not sure if it's closed.
Right. Again, I agree 100%. But the fact that since Waynesboro Pike goes right through it, he can close this side and everything on this side. And since they're not proposing anything on the other side, that's why I don't have Hardwick over it.
Are we taking in Adams County, this other paperwork we got, the Adams County Office of Planning Development's suggestions, like how are they gonna access the property? Is there an easement recorded?
Lots of that stuff is dealing in Hamilton Bay Township.
So we're not gonna approve it till Hamilton does, but we're okay with them not having a way into the property? It's like, if there's no easement, I mean, I don't know, I mean, back years ago, there was a problem with
They're
the state not even allowing the campground. to
They're
have
they're
access.
probably not gonna get a driveway permit on Waynesboro
No, they
Pike,
won't.
considering
Site.
that they can access an old Waynesboro Pike,
Oh,
old Waynesboro Road. But old Waynesboro Road is owned by, that is the portion that's Hamilton Bands. So they have to get through Hamilton Band on that, not us. And we can't dictate what he does in a different township. So, whereas I understand and I maybe even agree with what county says, we don't have no authority to hold up this plan based on something that's in a different township, because it's not our township.
So I'm new, so not to be argumentative, but like when Adams County, do they do this with okay, so if we don't use these, why do they do it? I'm just asking
No.
questions.
It's a requirement through the state, through the municipality planning code,
Okay,
that every land development and subdivision goes through the local county, if that's how you want to view it, and they get a chance to review and make recommendations.
Right.
We are, just like this board is a recommending board to the supervisors,
alright,
counties are recommending board to the supervisors as well. And then they offer zoning comments and subdivision comments, and just like I will offer zoning comments as well, ultimately your zoning officer is the one who governs the zoning book, and they may disagree with it. And then when you add in a second township like we got here, our zoning officer can't say nothing about Hamilton Man's zoning ordinance and vice versa. You have to look at them separately, even though it is one property. It covers two townships. And something as minor as this is, but you might notice like setback lines, once they reach the boundary line, they might get bigger or smaller because one township says 10 feet and the other one says 20 feet. And you have to show it in whatever township, and they have to meet both ordinances.
so I guess it was the county that was saying that they do not approve of a subdivision between town, or they were, I think it was them,
They have-
saying,
they have a-
ask them why they can't put it all in one
Right.
township.
Right.
That sort of thing, was that the county?
That's the county who said that. We do have it in our ordinance somewhere, and I think it quasi comes from our ordinance that when subdividing, now the real wording is like we should follow municipal boundaries. Should, not must.
That's why I hate should, don't ever use should with
I
me,
understand.
ever.
But we can't force them to do it. And then we've already ran into this in this township alone with Hamilton Band up at the Nuns up on Track Road before. We ran into this with this township and Freedom Township, and every time they try to figure out where the boundary line is between the townships, county makes a big stink, and ultimately they say, well, we don't know where it's at. And it's like, well, why are you putting people through the ringer? This one actually is probably a little bit easier because the boundary follows the stream,
It's clear on this one.
but
Except that.
we don't know where the stream has moved over the last
That was the thing.
100+ years.
You can't define it by
And
the
then
stream
where-
because it moves.
But where is it on the stream? Is it center bank? Is it center stream? We just had rains. It went up. The stream got.
But you did put the envelope, the envelope in our township.
They put the building envelope. I think just to make everybody happy.
But you have no driveway into it. or
Right.
access.
I mean, they're not gonna. Again, they're probably not coming in off of Waynesboro Pike. They probably have to come in on Old Waynesboro Road. And I'm not saying that they can't get a permit to cross that stream if they wanted to build in Liberty, but most likely they're probably not gonna mess with that and just say, if we build anything, it's gonna be in Hamilton Band Township. Yeah, why do I wanna try to, I mean, I'm not even saying it's gonna be a house, but why would you wanna get a permit to cross the stream to go right up to a highway when you can stay on the other side of the stream and have a little bit less traffic? That's my opinion. I don't know who's gonna own this in the future and what they want to do.
Can I just clarify one last thing on this, which was, and we discussed it 2 months ago, was the no build thing, which seemed, reading through, a lot of people, they weren't very happy with that, this no build, saying, well, you know, you ought to have this and you ought to have that. Is that firm, is that all been sorted out?
Well, they're not proposing anything to be built right now.
Right.
They are proposing to make a 20-acre lot and
Understood.
sell it, and whoever buys it, if they wanna build, then whoever buys it has to jump through all the
Okay,
hoops
so
to get
that's
building.
what was
Yes.
discussed last time, so that's as it stands.
Yep.
Okay.
So like I said, if you just wanted to, and I would recommend giving them conditional approval based on KPI's letter, minus number 3. But if you, but there are 3 things you have to make a recommendation on prior to that, which would be his 2 modification requests and the non-building waiver. Again, we already, the SEO already signed the non-building waiver.
Well, we can approve these and still not.
Right.
So the 2 modifications, were they?
The meets and bounds on the other side of Waynesboro Pike, and then the scale.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, and the scale is something that's come up very frequently, and I think there's a suggestion in there to
Well,
put,
The reality is, he doesn't need to technically ask for a waiver of the scale, because the way it's written, it says you should do 1 to 50 unless the township engineer approves something different. So it puts it on to KPI, my office. If I can read the plan and everything is legible and all, and they could have it on one sheet of plan, I usually am okay with the scale. But everybody reads it as, I better just ask for a waiver, and after 20 years, I'm sick of arguing that point, and I just let them ask for the waiver. It's not a big deal, and we just move on.
So should we remove that requirement?
No, I like having it in there because every once in a while someone doesn't ask for the waiver, and they just put it in. It's like, yeah, it's perfectly, as long as I can read it.
So why does Hamilton not wanna approve it until we approve it?
Well, I don't
And
know
vice
if that
versa.
they do or don't.
Right?
There, it's sort of like this. It's just 2 townships agreeing, like, let's make sure you're all good and we're all good before we start signing these plans.
So
Last
we're
thing
gonna
we,
let them do it first?
well, as long as it's like, as long as at the meeting they say we conditionally approve it, and one of the conditions is Hamilton Band Township approves the plan. Once they go to Hamilton Band and Hamilton Band says, yeah, we approve the plan, then they can sign the plan and then take it to Hamilton Band, and then Hamilton Band can sign it. It sort of goes to whose meeting goes first.
it doesn't say that Hamilton Band has to approve and sign, it only says
Right.
approve. So we can get their approval.
Yep.
Verbally and
That's right.
then sign. And they may be sitting there saying the same thing, why does it let me sign?
And once you give a, and just so you, the regulations, the way it works is once the board gives a conditional approval on any plan, Wendy writes a note and says to the developer, on this date, you are given conditional approval, you have X amount of time to meet the conditions. So Hamilton Band will do the same thing, and all they have to do then is walk in and go, look, at Hamilton Band approved it, and Wendy will say, that's fine by us. Sign the plan, here you go take them and get county and Hamilton Band and sign them and record. Or if our meeting goes first, then they'll run the Hamilton Band and go, look at, yeah, I mean, it's just, whoever meeting comes, I guess technically second, but yeah, whoever meeting comes first, they just, you get approval and you go to the other one.
if I understood your question earlier about the county remarks, you know, a lot of times we'll look at them and then approve it on, you know, condition that they meet the county requirements, you know, their notes, if I'm
Yeah, you do that,
understood
absolutely.
what he was asking for. You know,
Yeah,
approve
we've
it,
done that many
and then,
times. I mean, we just did it with Goldenwood.
taking care of that.
Well, yeah, but the county, one of them is not to have a lot spanning the two.
But that comes out of, I think that comes out of zoning, and if your zoning officer says that's not an issue to me, or, again, they are.
But I mean, if we conditionally approved it, say condition on addressing all these comments, that implies we're expecting that. But I agree that we probably don't know where the boundary is between the two.
Not exact.
And trying to have somebody try to figure that out and have everybody agree that that's where the boundary is.
I mean, the nuns, they put in a plan, put the line in, they said it was good. 4 years later, they put in a plan and the county said, no, the line should be all the way over here, and they went through the building, right through the building that they built, that they approved 4 or 5 years previously. And you're sitting there going, that really screwed everything up now. Like, so they don't know where it's at. The Bible camp is another one. That was another goofy one, where they wanted the line to be changed, which meant like 5 people, now their kids had to go to a different school. And that ended up just blowing up in everybody's face, where no one was gonna tell a kid in high school to go to a different school.
Yeah.
Like, that just, you know. So there are times where I don't necessarily agree with county.
Well, do you see any of the county comments that we consider critical that they address?
I did not, especially as it relates to Liberty Township. I did not review this as anything with Hamilton Van
You know, like you said, that's not,
Are these county remarks on the, boundaries down on this 275-10? Is that relevant since the roads area, all the setbacks and all will be not relevant, correct?
On which
On that
one?
property across the road, would them not, they want the, waiver for,
Right.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna affect anything that they own over that side of the road.
That's pretty much irrelevant because the road's there,
Right.
correct? The
Yeah.
property line.
and that piece is all Liberty, right?
Yes.
So,
So, yeah,
so there's no issue there with the
right.
township border.
Okay, so can we make a recommendation for conditional approval sent to the?
Why don't you start at I, the modification for a scale, and then you go to 2, the modification, and just take them one at a time, and then, yeah. So does anybody wanna make a recommendation on modification of the required scale?
Yeah, somebody make a motion that we accept we recommend accepting that.
Okay, well, I would recommend that we accept the modification of the scale.
Second.
Any more discussion on that one? All in favor?
I'm very sorry
I
about
recommend people put their phone on silence.
that. It was on silent, it was, yeah, that was a time of like that.
So that's accepting the modification of the scale, are we also accepting the
On the required scale.
on the
Yeah.
required scale?
It's item I under B, or small 1, however you want to read that.
Did we have a second on that, or do we need a second?
It was Kenny
We voted it.
Luther second.
Okay, sorry, I've got to write all this stuff down, forgive me.
And it was,
Yeah.
we voted on it.
Yeah, I got that.
So now we wanna go to item number 2.
Accepting the modification of not having to survey the far side.
Requiring total
Various.
tract boundaries.
what was the term you used?
And that,
Well, it's considered a request for modification
Yes,
requiring
But
providing
you
total
can
traffic
reference this
boundaries
letter.
yes, yes.
with
I-
varying
yes.
distances.
So are you,
So we're making a motion to accept that modification.
Right, you could
Well-
say in your minutes, his January 21st, 26 letter.
yes, which I looked at, yes.
KPI.
No,
no,
That's Roy.
Yeah.
So you made a motion, has anybody seconded that motion?
Did someone make a motion?
I did.
Oh, I second.
Did you say you
On the
second?
item two.
Item two.
Yeah.
Item 2, yes.
Any more discussion there? All in favor?
Aye.
The sewage plan is here, so that's been submitted.
The non-building declaration.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
part of
the
this
non-building declaration.
That has been signed.
Well, three
Yep,
is the
yes,
sewer.
yeah, it's signed.
Okay, so that has been signed.
That
So
has
that-
been signed.
It's been signed by the CEO, so SEO.
So we don't have to do anything else on that?
Well,
You still recommend to
We're
approve it.
recommending approval.
Then you have to sign it. That'd be-
Okay, then we recommend concurrence.
Okay. Recommend concurrence, yes.
I second.
Recommend
I'll first or second it, whatever.
What's that?
I'll first it or second it, whatever you need it to.
Do it first.
Cause it's signed form.
Okay, Sherry is making a motion,
Yeah, motion.
And then there's two.
and who would like
Yeah,
to
so-
second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
And then who does the sign can go to?
And then just leave them here for Wendy, because then Wendy has to sign it, and then she'll send a copy to,
So she keeps the second copy?
Yep, and she'll send a copy to DEP.
So I should sign both copies?
Yes.
Okay.
So does that take care of recommending conditional approval? Or do
Now,
we
well, now you
now we
recommend
need-
conditional
The
approval.
last one is a conditional.
Okay, now we need a motion for conditional approval, and I will make that motion. We send it to the board of supervisors, correct?
Conditions could be KPIs and county's comments.
Okay.
Of those 5 basic areas? No,
No.
what was it? No, it was the other 2, it was the, yeah, I got it,
Right.
I know.
County comments.
Ultimately, since you now recommend approval of those things, the only comment I have is that Hamilton Van Township approves it. Everything else has been addressed.
So we're making a recommendation to the board of supervisors on the provision that Hamilton Van.
Township approves the
Approves.
plan.
Okay.
But not the county comments.
That's up to you, guys, if you wanna add that in as well.
Well, we said about on number 4, we said about KPI comments, right? KPI and county comments.
So it's KPI and county's coming. Now, was county sending the second letter?
No, they usually don't,
Okay.
because they probably won't have to send it back to county. So you sort of now rely on me and your zoning officer to see if they address the
Okay.
comments.
So, sorry, you made you made that motion, who seconded that motion to do that final?
I don't think anybody had yet.
I'll second
Because that's the final piece of the puzzle, right? Thank you.
Any more discussion? I know you wanna keep writing, so I thought we should talk
Well,
about
I was a bit nervous about getting all that in the right order,
it.
yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that concludes that part. So the only other thing on the agenda, Wendy had sent out a email. There's a Municipal Planning Education Institute is doing a class on building a strong planning commission. This session's online. It's on March 26th.
I'm signed up.
I'm signed up. And if if anybody wants to do it, the township will pay for the fee, which is $25. The other thing I would say is they do record it. So if for some reason you're interested, but that's a bad time for you, by signing up, you'll still get in there and then you'll have an opportunity to record it or see the recording later.
I assume it's all online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would just encourage anybody that's interested, just contact Wendy and get signed up for it.
Back to the other, the Blue Ridge Sportsman, got the letter from Warrior where they addressed the county on the Hamilton bond, or addressed like Hamilton band, supervisors on the county comments, but did we ever get anything, did they address their, the county's comments that, the Adams part, you know what I mean? They addressed, in February, they addressed the Hamilton band,
Yeah, I mean, he
but
gave,
I've never seen another one since January, any response to anything that was in the Liberty, like what we had just discussed.
yeah, I did receive a letter from my original comments. So on January 19th, in response to my January 12th comments, he gave me a response letter. And he also had a response letter from Adams County comments that he provided January 21st. And he also, on January 21st, responded with a response letter from your zoning officer comments.
I was looking for where it was the county comments, when was that?
January 21st, he provided a response letter. And, I mean, just so you know, your zoning officer only had two comments, which was one, a building envelope, and then,
Right,
Adams County comments should be reviewed.
I was looking for it over there and didn't see it, but I seen the one that Hamilton Township. You know,
I don't think Wendy provided that one to us.
did you get,
I wonder, this sounds bad, I wonder if he sent it to Wendy, cause
Well,
he kept just
it would be-
emailing me directly all the stuff.
Was that an email that you were looking at?
Well, it's a letter, I don't know if it was, he emailed it to me and I
They
printed it.
Did he list on there if there was any copies?
Copy to Liberty Town.
No.
Well, he
Well-
said to me and then to Eric, which is Hamilton Band Township's engineer. And then, me and Eric, and then Andrew, but he sent it to me, so. And again, he usually emails everything, and I'm sure he dropped off hard copies in, cause that's what he does, he'll email it, drop off a hard copy to me. I would think he probably does the same with Wendy, is email her everything and then drop off hard copies. I could be wrong now, but I somehow got it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he emailed it to me, and I printed it out and put it in the file.
Does anybody have any other business that we need to talk about? Cause otherwise we can, because Lee Reuter may show up here in 5 minutes.
The year for these, state ethics commissions, that was 2025, is that correct?
Right.
So do we leave these?
I would leave it for Wendy.
Leave it in.
I have a pile
Well,
here
we
for
need a
stuff that I
motion.
gave to Wendy.
We need a motion to adjourn, otherwise we have to sit here all night. So moved.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see it recorded in the minutes.
Yeah, don't worry, it's 7:25.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, unless we get a plan, I don't think I'll see you next month, but can I get a plan?
And I did go drive through a snow squall on my way over here.
Yeah, I noticed it was starting.
And I won't be here in May. If we have a meeting in May, I don't know who wants to.
We'll figure it out.
I'll be in China.
You'll be in China, I'll be in England. There we go.
I'm gonna be here in Gettysburg. Yeah.
Yeah.
See you all next time. Thanks for
Just giving
everything.
you a heads up on that one.
Sherry, I wanted to ask you, was your family the one that owned the Kite versus Federal, but the operating officer, who owned the property up there?
He's a kite.
Oh, he's the Kite, you know?
What's that?
So,
I can't remember if I
I was doing
did
some
that. I
research
think I
on
did
here,
mine was the
right?
first
So I
one
ran
as
across
well.
this federal case.
Where do we leave it for her?
I would just
DOD.
leave it. I mean, right there's a pile of stuff on there.
Was that something?
Okay.
Yeah?
Pray for,
She'll-
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you
Well,
later.
it looks like it was a nice, good dispute, right? Like apparently they came in back in the 40s. Actually, the early 50s it would be, so they.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Well, unless we hear otherwise until next month, correct?
Right?
Unless we hear
Yeah,
otherwise, next
yeah,
month on the,
yeah.
whatever date it was,
Yeah.
listed, the,
Typical federal, eminent domain, we're taking the whole rock and way underbid it, right? And so he's like, well, it's like, oh, let's say they pay $800 an acre.
I don't think it's off.
24.
Oh, I'm looking at,
Yeah,
yeah,
21st.
I see the deed.
Cause I'm starting to tour around there, so
Yeah,
part of it's
you're right.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for all these little like nuggets around local knowledge that people don't know, you know.
There is a lot.
There's a ton, and that's what makes it interesting,
I
right?
think he was the guy everybody would go talk to, a lot.
I didn't check it for you. I'm pretty sure I found that.
You aren't it, you aren't it.
I don't know if she
Anymore,
got it.
Well, and she
Yeah,
didn't,
like I know that from our.
She had sent me a note earlier, she didn't have anybody that he signed up, but I
They
don't know
bought
if
it
that was.
before, and as soon as they bought it, they were G-Men and
Yeah,
they're going, why'd you buy it?
If you've never gotten an email.
They were
from
bangers
Mr.
for Baltimore,
Simon,
you know, this was,
You're not
no,
signed
this
up.
used to be like a big tourist
But
area, right?
you'll get
It was
an
the
email.
spot.
Asking,
When
you know,
you-
Yeah, I mean, it's just wonderful history of that, and try to make sure everybody knows it, you know?
Does she need to know how far?
See you next month.
She need to know.
Or maybe I'll see it at our meeting,
That's it.
come to the town meeting, it's so
Oh,
much fun.
yeah.
2 weeks?
Week and a half.
Yeah. How long?
I mean, if you think you wanna do it, and you're not sure if you can actually do it.
No, I can do it. I just want, I thought I already signed up. I
Yeah.
didn't want to verify. I'll verify it first, make sure she got it. No, you got an email.
Yeah, just send her an email and say, you think, you thought you signed up, or you haven't gotten confirmation, and if she says, well, sorry, I missed that, then she'll fix it.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, let's see, Richard, I'll send her a note tonight and find out what the status of it is. I think that just got rolled into a bunch of stuff and then, I don't know what happened. Cause it's a specific, the seller thing's a specific thing, right? It's not like in the whole, Airbnb and all the recommendations, cause I remember reviewing that one.
Yeah, it's just the question is, if it's okay as it is, it should go to, let's go to
Yeah,
formalize
yeah.
a change. And if there's concerns or things we need to go back and work on,
Yeah.
then we need to.
To know. Yeah. I'm a big fan of making sure that we don't sit on stuff. And I don't mean you, us, right?
Yeah.
People just, you know, sometimes I feel like you need to be accountable to get back and, I'm talking from the supervisor's perspective.
But it seemed to me with the Airbnb part, that some of our discussion, we can take minutes for all of our workshops, that we can kind of conclude there's things with taxes and all that, that
It gets complicated.
it's just, but it's not township business, and kind of dismiss doing anything with
Yeah,
that. And if that's the case, fine, you know, it's just,
someone make a decision on it.
yeah.
Well, I think that, you know, the other supervisors have their own opinions on that. My opinion is, look, if a couple lives here or somebody lives here and they want to Airbnb it, I'm supportive of that, especially like someone on fixed income that's got an extra room and they're trying to make an extra couple bucks to supplement. Absolutely, and I don't wanna stop that, right? You know, I mean, it's their property.
Well, the only thing that comes into the zoning that we did talk about, like if they want to establish that, they need to be careful about what improvements they do in the house, because then they could cross the line, like
That-
sewage.
Well, that's also what I
Sewage
noticed,
is
was like, if, like, so like I'm doing a wedding at my house this summer for a friend, it's free. But, you know, I was like, well, what, you know, I started being like, well, what happens? Be like, if I'm not in the house, you immediately turn, I don't even know if it matters how big the house is, you turn it into a hotel. And then if you're at a hotel, you have to have all the fire suppression stuff, and I mean, that gets expensive real fast. So I'm like, I don't want to touch any of that, because that suddenly means that now the township is going to have to go enforce it, and now we're spending taxpayer money on an Adams County revenue stream, you know, the way that the
But I'm thinking like if somebody wanted to have an apartment, say in a garage or something,
yeah.
but they want to tie the same stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
system, they need to verify that the system can handle it
Yeah.
or modify it.
Yeah.
That it could.
Yeah.
And that's where it's fine to do the Airbnb, but depending on what modifications you do to support that, may be an issue.
I think you're talking, there was a specific instance, I think, like that, wasn't there? All right, you got this too
I
long,
gotta
Rob?
figure out how this fan goes off now.
Oh, the fans are on the dial. So just turn it off. And then is this for Wendy? She knows what this is? I'm sure she does. And I do not know how this woman gets as much stuff done as she does.
I'm thinking that's all.
Yeah, I think they're one of those balancing.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah, there's stuff. All right, we'll see you next month.
Okay.